We show up, our parents are not ready for us to be there. They don't have any money. You basically get there, you're like, I don't think I should even be here yet. Every Christmas, we'd go, who's Derek? And we're like, hey. We would slide it to him. She turned 18 and got a tattoo. And I was like, well, you're going to get in pretty big trouble when they find that out. And she goes, I'm 18, I can do whatever I want. I go, yeah, well, I'm 28 and I'm still hiding wine, so I don't think you can. I remember nothing from school. People talk about history to me, and I'm like, I don't know when you guys learned that. I think we skipped all of this. I almost didn't graduate high school. I had an F in science. I was taking a class called science my senior year in high school. I mean, I had an F, and my dad went and talked to the teacher and just said, look, just give him a D. He's not going to do science stuff. And the teacher agreed to it. She was that confident I wouldn't touch the science world. We took ACTs, and I got a 17 on it. And if you don't ACTs, I mean, 18 is, they're like, that's not good, man, but you made it. 17, they're like, are you enrolled in this school? Like, what are you doing? The only thing I remember is in 7th grade, we had a kid fist fight PE teacher. That stuck with me. I mean, he was too old to be in 7th grade. He drove to 7th grade. If you're a 7th grade teacher and one of the kids drives, you just know you got to fight that kid one day. Like, I mean, it's just happening. Like, you have to be careful. I just read about, there's this new device you can buy for your car, and it's like a keyless device, and you press it, it's got a heartbeat detector on it. So you aim it at your car, you press it. If it flashes, that means like someone is in your car and they're going to kill you, all right? It's not going to be good. So you press it. If you want to buy it, it's like $550. If you do not have that money, you can do the old school route, which is just look in the window. It's either way, really. It's up to you. 50-50 if my zipper's up or down anymore. It's a true flip of the coin. I don't know what's happening. I've zipped up my whole life. And now, I'm like, all right, I'll see you boys later. Just head out. Take my pants off and they come off easy. I'm like, oh, that was 4 hours I was walking around like. Went to Australia as well. Australia is very far away. I'm gonna tell you, our Earth is bigger than I thought it was. We flew 16 hours, over 500 miles an hour. Barely made it, barely. I think we went the wrong way as well. I went to community college for 1 year. I have 0 credits. Community college, a lot of people don't know, is college when they're like, you're probably gonna stay in your community. So, we're just gonna show you the ropes around town. Kind of give you a lay of the land. That whole year, I don't have credits because I had to take all remedial classes, which remedial is basically they're classes for someone my age now trying to go back to school because they don't remember school. And I took them right out of school. They were like, you don't remember school? I was like, I just came from school. And they go, it looks like you've never heard about it. Everybody in there was like 50. I'm like, well, who's the teacher? I think you have to tell me if I ask, who's the teacher? Doing those drive-in shows were fun. They were, you're at a drive-in movie theater. What's hard is when people want to leave early. If they don't like your act, I mean, you just see headlights hit you in the face. And he's just like, and just guy backs up. And you're like, all right, there goes that guy. I did one Zoom show, And it was just, I mean, it's just your face on it. And right before we get started, I just hear someone say, I don't know, it's some stupid comedy thing. And it's just, what's that? What'd she say? Just helicopters all day. That's an outside show. The next special is LAX. It's going to be a good time. I remember I would fall out of a bunk bed. I slept in a bunk bed. I was on a bunk, and I would get over a railing and just fall 6 feet to the ground and just land. I mean, just all, you don't catch yourself. It's just whatever hits first. All your body weight just lands on your head. I got a full-blown concussion. I'm crying. My parents are like, just go back to a deep sleep for 7 hours. I've had concussions in my life, and none of them because of sports. Just living life, man, you know? Stuff happens to your head. What are you going to do? One was in high school. I got pushed into a wall head first. It took them 3 class periods to figure out I had a concussion. That's how much I was bringing to the table. I mean, 2 teachers didn't even notice. And the third one was like, he wasn't forward. And that's when I realized he's one of the better facer forwards I've ever had. So I knew. My biggest concussion was when I was 12 years old. I fell down. I grew up in Old Hickory, Tennessee. And we used to climb down this cliff into Old Hickory Lake. And we'd done it a ton of times. And so one day I slip and fall. So my friend that I'm with, he goes and gets my mom. They were fishing in a boat down in the lake, and so he sees me and he gets me into the boat, and he takes me over to some stairs, which he had to be like, why didn't he just use these stairs? I mean, they were right next to that cliff. Like, it didn't even make sense. There was 2 guys at the bottom of the steps, and he goes, hey, this kid fell. Can you carry him up? So they carry me up, and my mom's in an ambulance in her pajamas. My dad, who I think everybody knows now is a magician, and he's doing a show in a full tuxedo. So when they get to the hospital, the doctor starts talking to my parents. I mean, my mom looks homeless. My dad's in a tuxedo. It looks like they're divorced and someone's not paying child support. So we have never known who was in the boat or the guys that carried me up those stairs. We've never known who it was. And we always wanted to thank them. I mean, those guys truly saved my life. And we could just never find out who it was. So we've never known. So I tell you that to tell you, last year, my dad he's doing a show. He does these magic shows in prisons. So he's doing a show in a prison. And during the show, one of the inmates just stands up and says, I know your son. Which is probably not the best place as a father to hear that. Just like, I know your boy. He keeps his mouth shut. He's good people. So my dad, he goes, hey, he's like, all right. He goes, how do you know my son? And he was one of the guys that carried me up those stairs that day. I mean, I promise, I was 12 years old, and we've never known who carried me up those stairs. And it was him and his brother, and then his brother saw me on the Tonight Show and was like, that's that kid that we carried up those stairs that day. So pretty crazy. And so since then, I've been actually bringing him out to shows. I'm bringing him out tonight. And no, he's not here. He's in prison. But yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Look, he would love to be here, trust me. I mean, yeah, he'd kill to be here, to be honest. But there's one day I'll get him. I did find out why he was in prison, which was crazy. It was that same day. They just carried a body down those stairs. And you can imagine the frustration to then be handed another body. And you're like, dude, are you serious, right? Like, we just did this, man, you know? All right, that part I made up, but the rest of it's true. So, I will never go through that process to get my name changed, so I just deal with it. And it gets brought up. Once I was checking a bag, and the guy by the counter, he sees my ticket says Nathan, the license says Nathaniel. He was like, this is not good. He goes, these names don't match. And I was like, but they match, right? Like, you can see the leap that we took to get from one to the other. He was like, but they're not the same. I was like, but they're the same. And I'm realizing he cannot find out people call me Nate at that point because, I mean, he can't handle that. I'm gonna call the police over to be like, there's a guy with 3 names trying to fly right here. If you guys want to just shoot him from over there or something. So I was like, what do you want me to do? He goes, you should go home. That's all I honestly said. I can't believe you've made it this far. I was like, let me just try it, you know? Shouldn't I try it? I said, look, I'll give you that those names don't match. But what I think is gonna help a ton is the picture on the ID. Something that I've always loved that they did. And I think with 70% of that name matching and 100% face, 170%, I think I'll get through it. And this is what he told me. This is honestly what he said. He goes, look, man, I get it, all right? He's trying to relate to me. And he was like, my name's Joseph. That's what's on my license. So I can't buy a ticket under my nickname Bart. They're not gonna let me through. He said it like, right? Like, do you know what, does that make sense? And I was like, that doesn't at all. Those are two different names, all right? You should be over there and you should be over here because that's how you're treating me. Like I'm a Joseph Bart. Made it through. And on that trip, I was going to Seattle. And if you've ever been to Seattle, Mount Rainier is near Seattle. That's what they call it that. And I don't know if that's true, just so y'all, it felt like y'all took that like, yeah. So we were going out to Mount Rainier, and I was with a buddy of mine. And Mount Rainier it's the third biggest mountain in America. It's a good one to go to. I don't know who number 1 or number 2 is, but maybe one day it will be number 1, you know? Do mountains keep growing? I don't think we know that yet. It's a good time to see it. It doesn't have the attitude of a 1 or a 2. Marriage fights are great because they're all very dumb. I would say 90% of them are dumb. 10% the cops show up. But we got in a fight once over chocolate milk. We didn't talk for 24 hours. What happened is I brought chocolate milk home, and she was like, why did you bring it home? And I was like, you're supposed to drink it after you work out. And she was like, that's not true. And I was like, there's a commercial on TV that probably looked into it more than you did. So I decided to listen to them. And she said, that's just the milk people pushing chocolate milk. And I was like, you don't even know what that statement means. You don't know if there's milk people. And I think chocolate milk's doing fine. I don't think they're sitting on barrels of it. And they're like, we got to make up a lie. We got to get rid of this chocolate milk. She went to college, all right, and I did not. But she did not study chocolate milk. When is it good and not good for you? My wife was with me when I had that job. She's been with me way before where we're at right now. She was in it for the benefits. I got at the water company. There it is. We've been married 17 years. Thank you. And I know, the longer I'm married, the more I realize why she was put in my life. I would not be here if she was not in my life. I know all of this. Now, I've also become very reliant on her because of this. I don't know anything about me. Like, I don't know what I like and don't like to eat. I mean, someone be like, you want to try this? And I got to get her involved. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know how long to microwave something. I have to ask her every time, as if her family invented the microwave. How long do we microwave this for? And she's like, do it till it's hot. It's like, but I know you know a number, just say the number. I'm either gonna call my mom or you're gonna tell me the number. If she doesn't tell me, I type in 90 minutes and I walk away. I remember I would fall out of a bunk bed. I slept in a bunk bed. I was on a bunk, and I would get over a railing and just fall 6 feet to the ground and just land. I mean, you don't catch yourself. It's just whatever hits first. All your body weight just lands on your head. I got a full-blown concussion. I'm crying. My parents are like, just go back to a deep sleep for 7 hours. I've had concussions in my life, and none of them because of sports. Just living life, man, you know? Stuff happens to your head. What are you gonna do? One was in high school. I got pushed into a wall head first. It took them 3 class periods to figure out I had a concussion. That's how much I was bringing to the table. I mean, 2 teachers didn't even notice, and the third one was like, he wasn't forward, and that's when I realized he's one of the better facer forwards I've ever had. So I knew. My biggest concussion was when I was 12 years old. I fell down. I grew up in Old Hickory, Tennessee, and we used to climb down this cliff into Old Hickory Lake, and we'd done it a ton of times. And so one day I slip and fall. So my friend that I'm with, he goes and gets my mom. They were fishing in a boat down in the lake, and so he sees me and he gets me into the boat. And he takes me over to some stairs, which he had to be like, why didn't he just use these stairs? I mean, they were right next to that cliff. Like, it didn't even make sense. There was 2 guys at the bottom of the steps, and he goes, hey, this kid fell. Can you carry him up? So they carry me up, and my mom's in an ambulance in her pajamas. My dad, who I think everybody knows now is a magician, and he's doing a show in a full tuxedo. So when they get to the hospital, the doctor starts talking to my parents. I mean, my mom looks homeless. My dad's in a tuxedo. It looks like they're divorced and someone's not paying child support. So we have never known who was in the boat or the guys that carried me up those stairs. We've never known who it was. And we always wanted to thank them. I mean, those guys truly saved my life. And we could just never find out who it was. So we've never known. So I tell you that to tell you, last year, my dad he's doing a show. He does these magic shows in prisons. So he's doing a show in a prison. And during the show, one of the inmates just stands up and says, I know your son, which is probably not the best place as a father to hear that. Just like, I know your boy. He keeps his mouth shut. He's good people. So my dad, he goes, hey, he's like, all right. He goes, how do you know my son? And he was one of the guys that carried me up those stairs that day. I mean, I promise, I was 12 years old, and we've never known who carried me up those stairs. And it was him and his brother. And then his brother saw me on the Tonight Show and was like, that's that kid that we carried up those stairs that day. So pretty crazy. And so since then, I've been actually bringing him out to shows. I bring him out tonight. And no, he's not here. He's in prison. But yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Look, he would love to be here, trust me. I mean, yeah, he'd kill to be here, to be honest. But there's one day I'll get him. I did find out why he was in prison, which was crazy. It was that same day. They just carried a body down those stairs. And you can imagine the frustration to then be handed another body. And you're like, dude, are you serious right now? Like, we just did this, man, you know? All right, that part I made up. But the rest of it's true. And to make fun of my generation, just so it doesn't seem like I'm trying to skip over, another hotel I was at, another syrup incident, actually. I mean, I'm a big fan of waffles, so syrup, I'm around syrup quite a bit. And at a Holiday Inn Express, so the breakfast buffet there is where they have the cereal where you turn the knob and like 4 pieces fall out. It's like how you feed a cat for a long weekend, you know? And you're like, that's enough. They had batter and syrup. And so you they had the waffle iron where you make it yourself. So you pour the batter on the waffle iron, you shut it, you turn it over, it locks, it cooks minutes, you turn it over, you open it, half the waffle comes off, half stays forever. That's how you eat a waffle. So I'm with my buddy of mine that's my age. So we go through, not really talking or anything, just going through. He gets to it, it's batter and syrup, they're in containers. They're not labeled, but they're in clear containers. He gets the syrup and starts pouring it on the waffle iron. And I'm not even stopping him because he's not doing it where he's going, I've never done that. He's doing it where we're probably going to try it after. I mean, he's just like, we're like, dude, I can't wait to see what this guy's making. Like, he might know something that I don't know. He shuts it, turns it over, it cooks. He's like looking at us. We're like, I mean, the whole line's like, hey, what is that going to be? And it makes black smoke is what it makes. Just, I mean, dark black smoke. Just starts filling the lobby. The manager comes over. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I guess I poured the wrong one. These are not labeled. And the guy's like, they're in clear containers. Do you not know the difference of batter and syrup? And he's like, I bet it happens all the time. He goes, I've worked here my whole life and I've never seen this. So they threw the waffle iron. They just throw it away. That's what they have to do. Just throw it away. It's over. And now there's no waffle. I mean, we went from all about to get a waffle to it's upside down in a trash can. And then he just turns and looks, and it's just a line of people, that little foam plate. And just everybody's sad. I just hear someone in the back go like, I set my alarm for this. I mean, two guys didn't have shoes on. They go, I ran down with no shoes in that elevator. I thought I was going to miss it. I have a daughter, and my daughter's name is Harper. So a lot of people ask, they're like, oh, did you name her after Harper Lee, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird? And, you know, I've never thought about an author a day in my life. So that never me. I mean, my middle name's Lee, and just never crossed my mind. I love having a kid. I love when kids cry. It's just innocent. I love how innocent it is. They cry over a tag in their shirt. And I mean, they're all just, they don't like, it feels weird. And then, I mean, if you walk, you like, is your house on fire? Like, I've never seen someone cry this much. It's over nothing. She's on her iPad a lot. You know, that's the hard part. You got to get these kids off. Or you don't want technology all the time. She just sits there, iPad. She wants to be a YouTuber, which as a comedian makes me furious. She watches all these kid YouTube videos, and now she makes her own videos. It's just her sitting there going, hey guys, what's going on? Click the links below, subscribe, leave a comment. None of this is anywhere but my phone. I got 90 hours of this, not on YouTube. Me and him are the only subscribers. Just watches kids playing with toys too. Like, that's what's crazy. It's not like a show. I'd be fine if she watched a show. She watches just a kid that's like, hey, you don't have this toy? I do. You want to see me open it? It's got 5 billion views. It looks like we buy her nothing. Like, we just show her, if you want to watch a kid have fun, but you're never going to have fun in this house. We got very lucky with our neighbors. Our neighbors are super cool, and we're very close with them. They all have real jobs. They like went to college and stuff. And one of them is a management consultant. So he manages all the consultants. And yeah, it's a tough job, all right? There's a lot of consultants, and he's like, you better get back, you know? You just can't consult up in here. So he's busy. Our other neighbor's an actuary. I thought that was with birds. I was like, what's that bird right there? He goes, I don't know. And I was like, as an actuary, you don't know what that bird is right there? And wives are the ones that keep it together the longest in a relationship. If you see an old married couple, like 80-year-old, they're 80, the wife is just, she's with it. And her husband, where are we at right now? Like I mean, our brains fall off a cliff, dude. Like she's the only reason he's out is because she's like, you better get out and let people see you a little bit. It's like some zookeeper walking some old gorilla around. Let the kids touch you. Everybody's trying to feed, don't feed him that. Well, I think he wants it. He definitely wants it. He's too dumb to know he can't have it. I first thank you. I can't thank you enough for coming out tonight. It means the world. And I've been making, this is how I've been closing shows on the road, and I want to close my special with it. I'm assuming that people saw the Netflix, the stand-ups, the little half hour. Thank you. Thank you for watching it. Thank you for coming out. So some stuff's happened since that special, and I want to give you some updates to a couple stories I told on that special. If you haven't seen it, I'll walk you through it. Don't, think you're going to be lost. And I think you've seen what I've talked about. I bet you're like, I bet we'll catch up quick. So the first update is about the Cape Fear Serpentarium. And if you haven't seen it, you could pause it right now and go watch it. But you might be like, I can't handle really much more of you. But if not, I'm gonna walk you through it. Or maybe just a reminder, but a very quick, unfunny version is I went to Wilmington, North Carolina, to a guy's house, and he had a bunch of snakes, lizards, and a crocodile. And when I was there, a crocodile got out, and a lady wrote a TripAdvisor review about it. That's the very quick, unfunny version. If you haven't seen it, don't think that's all it takes to get a Netflix special. So the first thing is the lady that wrote the TripAdvisor review messaged me after the special came out. And you write a review on TripAdvisor, you can see how many people look at it, and it jumped 50,000 views the day the special came out. So, but she did not know this for a couple of days. So, I mean, she was like, I'm crushing it as a reviewer, all right? I swear. I'll bring your place. You better treat me right, Applebee's. I'll bring this whole place down. I was in San Francisco, and I bet there's a bunch of fun coffee places, and I live in my dumb world that I just want this one little drink. So I go into a Starbucks, and I get to the front, and I was like, I'll take an iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And then she goes, iced coffee with cream? I go, iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And she said it one more time. She said, so iced coffee with cream? And at that point, I should have said, what's going on right now? Where are you at in your head? Because I feel like we're in two different places. But I was nervous, and there was people behind me, and I was like, cream or no cream? Honestly, I'll give you $20 if you let me leave right now. I cannot, this is the most I can talk about this. I don't even know what's happening anymore. So I paid, I go stand in line, where you gotta wait for your drink. There's like 5 of us waiting for our drinks. So she puts the iced coffee up there first, no cream, and I was like, whatever. I'll just do it myself, Like I don't like doing it myself, but I was like, all right, I'll just do it. So before I could get it, she's walked back with a can of whipped cream, and she's shaking it. And I'm just looking at it, like thinking that's someone else's. I'm like, someone's getting whipped cream. That's fun. One of you guys are getting whipped cream? And I look down, and she starts spraying the whipped cream on top of my iced coffee. She just yells out, iced coffee whipped cream, yells it out. The other 4 people turn their back, like they don't want you to accidentally think that's what they ordered. And I'm just left alone, like, that's what you thought I said over there? You don't think I would have said iced coffee with whipped cream? You think I'm just some nut job? It's like, I've had too many problems in this Starbucks, so I'm only going to use the words that I want and no other words. Iced coffee whipped cream cup. And they didn't have a top for it, so whipped cream, it doesn't sink and become less embarrassing. It moves. It's like a buoy in an ocean that everybody sees. I'm just walking through the crowd like, this is my favorite drink. I don't know if you guys drink this at all. Does anybody? Nobody does this? I'm surprised. And I walked outside and threw it away and tried again at a different Starbucks. All right, thank you, God. I can't thank you enough. You are unbelievable. What I eat that's the main problem. I eat like a child. It's not good. He goes, let's go through like what you had for breakfast, or your whole day of eating. He goes, let's go through yesterday. And in my head, I'm like, well, yesterday's not a good day, Let's pick another day. He goes, go through yesterday. I go, all right. I had donuts in the morning. And he goes, all right. Was it like they were just out or something? I go, no, I drove to it. I drove to it, and he's like, is it on your way? I go, no, I was late to where I was going because of it. He goes, what about late night snacking? And I was like, well, I had Sour Patch Kids last night. He goes, did you watch a movie? I go, no, just regular TV. And ate only, he's like, the little kid bag? I go, no, it was a bag. It was a bag of them. If you saw it without a label and someone said, hand me that bag, they wouldn't be confused on what you were asking. I always have trouble going to sleep, and I swear every doctor, it's like I eat Sour Patch Kids and have soda, and I'm like, what's going on, man? I can't. Dude, at night, my brain just doesn't stop. And you're like, yeah, dude, you can't eat Sour Patch Kids in bed. Maybe that's a problem. We took a trip to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale, and her and our daughter are flying from Nashville, where we live, and I'm flying from Detroit. We're meeting at Fort Lauderdale's airport. I have to find them when they land. So I called her because I was about to take off, and I was like, all right, what time do you guys leave? She goes, noon. And it was 11:30, and they're still at home. I was like, Laura, I don't know if you even know what an airport is. But if that plane was in our driveway, I don't think you could make it. And she said, that's what time we leave for the airport. Our flight's not till 1:30. And I was like, all right. So, what do you think I wanted to know when I asked that? Is that what you thought the best time you could give me was a time that means nothing to nobody? What time did you go to bed last night? Just tell me that. I'll just look up all the planes that land in Florida, and I'll guess which one I think you're on. She said, I'm sorry I don't talk the way you want me to talk. I'm like, I want you to talk like a regular person, all right? Like you've been around people before, you know? We didn't talk in Florida, I'll tell you that. She's good at not talking to me. She can go a long time. She could do her whole marriage career. All right, this is it. This is fun, huh? This is, yeah. I mean, let me tell you, 20 has been my favorite year. Out of all the years, this has been the best one. I mean, you know, there's aliens. They said there's UFOs. And no one cares. That's... What kind of year could you have that you could sneak in? Hey, everybody, on the news, they're at the end of the news, they go, there's UFOs. And you're like, oh, do they have COVID? And you're like, no. Like, I don't know. They won't get tested. But what's funny, I told my wife that. I said, they said there's UFOs, and she just went about her day. I mean, just, might even watch this and be like, oh, I didn't even hear that. And that's the point. That's how amazing 2020 has been. I also feel this is a good year to see where your friends are at. You know, like, you want to be in the middle, I think. And I've got friends that they take a shower with their mask on, and they sleep with the mask on because they have a hamster, and the hamster probably has it, and they live alone. It's just them and the hamster. And I also have friends that I don't think have even heard about COVID. It's like someone told them to try to go get it. That's how they're living. I have friends too that they tell me they already had it. They're like, I had it. I had a fever. February, had a fever for a couple hours, so probably had it. I had one friend, he told me he had it in 2015. Convinced. He goes, I had it in 2015. I was the first, and it just didn't catch on like it has now. But I can tell you one thing that's gone forever is coughing in public. That's a wrap. I mean, you drink water wrong at a restaurant, just go walk in traffic. The whole restaurant just stops. Your table would be like, get out of here. Get out of here. And you know who that's going to hurt the most, the cough in public? My parents. That's what I feel, because that's one of their favorite things to do, cough in public. They love it. That's all they do. They cough everywhere. My dad's choking constantly. If he's not choking, that's when we get worried. That's how much choking he's doing. We go to a restaurant, and they're like, is you okay? I'm like, oh, I didn't even, yeah, that's just what he does, you know?
War, that's how I say it. Instead of civil, I go Silver War. Because, you know, look, that might be on me, all right? I'm not... I tell you, I don't even know anything about the Civil War.
When I first moved to New York, I was there 3 months from Nashville, Tennessee. And I remember one night we would do comedy, then we'd always go eat at like a diner really late. And one night I'm sitting, we go to this diner, I'm sitting in the back, and this guy walks in with his CNI dog, but he's like pretending to be blind. Like he's not, like I'm really good at telling when people are fake blind. And I was like, this guy's not blind, you know? He walked in, he made a big announcement to it. He's like, hey, I'm blind, everybody, I'm blind. And then he started just knocking everything off everybody's table. Like, oh, I wish I could see what's going on, but I can't because I'm blind. And he had a CNI dog. He was leading the dog around the whole time. The dog never got in front of him. And I was like, it doesn't work like that, you know? Like, I don't think the dog builds confidence and is like, do some of these on your own. I just want to see, you know, if you get it, like, so I'm watching all this happen. I'm getting pretty upset about it, you know, because I just moved to the north from the south, so I still cared about people. And I was like, I gotta do something, you know? And so they kick him out, and they get us outside. And I go out there, I look, I was like, all right, let me go. In my Mayberry head, I think this is New York's biggest problem. And I go over to him, I was like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, why would you pretend to be blind? Like, how would you feel if you really were blind? And he was like, how would you feel if you were blind? I was like, what does that even mean? And then he sprayed me with mace. And he was so accurate. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I hope I get him. It was both eyeballs. The bridge of my nose wasn't even wet. That's how good he was. And when you with mace, you can see for a second. And I remember, like, I was like sitting there, and I look up, and he runs across the street, and he gets hit by a cab. For real, it wasn't bad. Like the cab, like just kind of bumped it. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't, you know, like he's fine. I think he's fine. He could see after. No, I don't know. But he falls into the sidewalk. But I remember like thinking, I was like, I saw that cab. Like he definitely should have seen it, you know. So it was like, all right. I mean, odds are he's probably blind, you know. It's his first day or something. I don't know. Like maybe he's going through a lot, and I should have just backed up. Everybody asked too. They're like, oh, was it? They would one another. Like, would you get sprayed with pepper spray or mace? And it's like, I don't know what it was. What kind of life are you living if you could tell the difference? If I knew something, I don't know. Could have been hairspray. I don't know. What do you?
I travel a lot, obviously. So she'll be at home with our daughter. We have a wonderful daughter, as you have seen. And but I know it's hard because she's home and my wife has to be the mom and the dad and the good and the bad parent, you know, and I come home and I'm super fun. Or I'll mess up the routine. This is just stuff she tells me. And like when I go home, I'll go lay in bed with our daughter, and then we get in trouble for talk. I'm not the one talking, by the way, but we get yelled at as if I'm the one talking. I do get it, because I don't think of the consequences with everything.
So I was born in 1979, and the reason I say that, because if you are my age or just right around my age, very like maybe 78 to 80, you might realize, or maybe you don't know, I've never been called a millennial or Generation X. I've never even really heard any of those terms growing up, and now you hear them all the time. So I looked it up to try to see. I was like, what am I? And I'm technically nothing. I'm on a cusp. I'm a generation gap, and what we are called Zennials. Or we're called the Oregon Trail generation, or we are called, my favorite name is the lucky ones. And it's true, we're very lucky. We actually grew up in two different worlds. When I was a kid, I grew up like it was the 50s. Like you would go out and your parents just didn't know where you were. We went to school and played Oregon Trail on a computer at school. No one had a computer at home. It's like, what are you, a zillionaire? Like, I mean, you could. But then in high school, I had AOL. You know, we had a computer at home. Then I got a beeper, and then I got a cell phone. I didn't have social media until I was 26 with MySpace. You know, I mean, social media, like, whatever I did in high school is a rumor. It can't ruin my life. So if you're around my age, you might realize, like, you just end up always kind of being in the middle. Like, I understand when a Gen Xer says something, you're like, I get it. And millennial says something, you're like, no, I get it. You always just feel in the middle. And these groups all hate each other. And the most I've ever felt where I was in the middle was just this one hotel that I stayed at. So a lot of hotels now, they have Chromecast, and you can watch like Netflix in your hotel room. So I'm watching, I get in my room, and I turn it on, and my Chromecast is not working. So I call down to the front desk, and the oldest voice I ever heard answered the phone. This guy was a Civil War survivor. I mean, he was the age where you just go, thank you for your service. And it's like, I was in the Army, you're like, probably, man. I mean, there's an age where like they all had to go at that age, so just say it. So I tell him, I go, hey, my Chromecast is not working. And I could have just made up a word. I mean, he's never heard of that. I could have said, Bob broke. I mean, he asked if I was staying at that hotel. That's how he goes, are you staying here? I was like, do you think I've called the front desk from a different hotel room? So he goes, look, I don't know what this is, but there's a younger guy here. Send him up. He'll be able to help you. And I was like, great. So that guy comes up, and he knocks on my door. I open it. He's my dad's age. And I mean, right when I see him, you're like, all right, dude, we don't have to do this. You know, I mean, I know you've heard of it, but you're not, if I can't fix it, you're not going to be able to fix it. But he's the generation that still wants to give it a try. So I got to let him in. So he comes to my room, sits on my bed, a little too far back, I thought. I just remember like the back of his calves were touching the bed, and I was like, are your feet dangling? How far back are you going to go? Are you cold? Do you want some covers, man? He gets the remote and just starts pressing all the buttons. And I said, I don't know how to do it. And he goes, let's just keep trying it, though. I go, all right. I'm going to turn the shower on, open a window. Let's try everything. You know, let's just see. Maybe it turns on. Who knows? Maybe it's all connected. So we can't get it. And he goes, all right. He goes, there's a younger guy. He's about to come to work. At this point, I'm like, I'm the younger guy, man. I was like, it's all right, dude. I don't need it. And he goes, no, it's a millennial. I was like, all right. Now we're getting somewhere, you know? This is what the millennial does. He was born with technology. He's going to know this. I was excited. I was like, great. He goes, he comes to work in an hour. I go, wonderful. And let me tell you, you know how quick that millennial fixed it? Well, I'll never know because he just didn't come to work that night. So, didn't call in, nothing. And I found out because the old guy called me because he was supposed to fill in for him. He was furious, dude. He hates that millennial. He goes, he never comes to work. He doesn't take it serious. He's got a peanut allergy. And I was like, all right, well. I ended up fixing it myself because it was just unplugged. So that's my fault.
My parents are getting older. They're not super old, but they're at the age where, you know, if they trip, they will fall to the ground. There's just an age where it happens. I mean, if I trip, my body hasn't touched the ground in 40 years. But it's just, I don't know. It's like the upper is like, we're going, and the lower is like, what? And it's just, bro. And I mean, there's no like, whoa, it's just, they don't even know what's happening. They're just looking at you, and you're like, you're not feeling any of this? And they hit the ground so hard, it's like they got thrown off a roof. Everybody hears it, they're like, what's going on? My parents are down. I gotta get them up. My mom's got a bruise that won't go away for 2 years. I just walk ahead of them now. I'm like a Sherpa. Just let them know the terrain that we're about to hit. Got a little carpet coming up. Got a little carpet, we won't go outside a little brighter than inside. And cobblestone, you ain't gonna make that. So, lay down on the carpet. I'm gonna back the car up in the building.
The next morning, dealt with my daughter's generation. It's a generation that I feel like just thinks about themselves, you know? And so I go down to the breakfast, they have the breakfast buffet. So we're all going through it. This little girl's in front of me, and she has waffles. So she gets a waffle, and there's a coffee pot worth of syrup on a plate. So it's like you pour it, and then you leave it back on the plate, and then you go and eat your breakfast. So she gets the syrup, and she just takes it to her table. So now the syrup's gone. And I see this happen, but no one else does. So I'm hearing other people go through, and they're asking where the syrup's at. And it's starting to become a problem. I mean, people are like, where's the syrup? And the hotel's like, I don't know. That's all the syrup we have was out there. I know where it's at, but I'm not trying to get involved, you know? I didn't wake up and just think, I hope I get to talk to everybody this morning. I mean, when you roll out of bed, you're not like, I hope I'm about to get in the thick of it down there. So I'm just trying to say stuff as I walk by people. I'm like, maybe someone took it to their table. Look around, maybe. I just like keep going. You see that little girl's table over there? Maybe they have it. And no one's picking up on this, so I have to go get it. And this girl's sitting with a bunch of her friends. So I go over to them. I was like, hey, can we get that syrup back? That's kind of for the entire hotel. And they go, whatever. All of them. Just blew me off. And then the father in me kicks in. I go, all right, well, just a heads up, just so you guys know, I did nothing wrong, and you guys have ruined breakfast for everybody. I don't know if you've ever eaten out in public before, but do you see me over here with a tub of eggs? Do I have all the eggs? You did everything, and for some reason you thought, I bet this is all my syrup. And where are your parents at, you know? A couple of them started crying. Felt good, to be honest. I was away a little bit. I like to practice on other children, you know, my discipline. This is it. This is, you know, it's something. Thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate it. Very excited. I tried to, I'm always like trying to lose weight, and then like you think, I'll tape a special. That will, you know, that'll do it. And then you just kind of, next thing you know, it's already started. So, I had a thing that happened that I do. It was like, I got to get it together. Like, I like to golf. And so I would sometimes bring clubs and I'll golf on the road. And so I was in Florida and we go golfing. It's very hot, humid, gross. You get kind of feeling gross. So I wanted to change shirts before I drove back. And I go to the trunk of my car and I take my shirt off, standing there, no shirt. And this old man walks up and goes, Olivia? I had to turn, I was like, I'm sorry. So what did you say? I'm sorry. And he was like, oh, sorry, honest mistake. And I was like, I don't know. He was looking for his elderly wife and saw me with no shirt on and thought that could be Olivia. I had a car that he does not recognize. None of this is making him not, he's like, I don't know, that's a dead ringer for Olivia. I don't know who he disrespected more, me or Olivia, to be honest. I mean, we could both have a word with him. We've been married 12 years, and our wedding, it was not good. This is not my fault. This was my mom and my wife planned the wedding, and they're both cheap. So they cut corners. If we hire someone to do something at our house, I promise he does not do that job full time. He'll be fixing our dishwasher, and we're like, do you paint houses? And he's like, yeah, I probably could paint houses, you know? His business card says, how hard could it be, right? Can't be that hard. We got married on Friday the 13th. Got a pretty sweet deal on that. They were wide open. We're like, what times are available? They go, every one of them, all 24. You can call us that day if you want. Her brother married us. That was free. The photographer was just a buddy of ours that had he just bought a new camera. So we were like, you gonna do our wedding? Never done anything professionally, and it showed. His camera stopped working during it, and he started taking stuff out of it. Like, that would be the it's like, yeah, you know what? I bet they put too much stuff inside of it when they built it. You should yank some of those wires. That's not supposed to be in there like that. Our DJ was awful, and that's because we got my mom to hire the DJ. I don't know who thinks to ask someone in their 50s for DJ recommendations. No one ever is like, Mom, are you in with the local DJ scene by any chance? She hired someone older than her. He just had CDs, and this was when computers were doing real good. He got super drunk, played the same song 3 times in a row. White Wedding, which he said was by Billy Joel. He only had one leg, seriously, and that's fine, you know, no one cares until he starts messing up, and then you're like, why does he have one leg? What I eat that's the main problem. I eat like a child. It's not good. He goes, let's go through like what you had for breakfast, or your whole day of eating. He goes, let's go through yesterday. And in my head, I'm like, well, yesterday's not a good day, you know. Let's pick another day. He goes, go through yesterday. I go, all right, I had donuts in the morning. And he goes, all right, was it like they were just out or something? I go, no, I drove to it. I drove to it, and he's like, is it on your way? I go, nope, I was late to where I was going because of it. He goes, what about late night snacking? And I was like, well, I had Sour Patch Kids last night. He goes, did you watch a movie? I go, no, just regular TV. And ate them. He's like, the little kid bag? I go, no, it was a bag. It was a bag of them. If you saw it without a label and someone said, hand me that bag, they wouldn't be confused on what you were asking. I always have trouble going to sleep, and I swear every doctor, it's like I'd eat Sour Patch Kids and have soda, and I'm like, what's going on, man? I can't. Dude, at night, my brain just doesn't stop. And you're like, yeah, dude, you can't eat Sour Patch Kids in bed. Maybe that's a problem.
I think it's because I'm peeing so much longer, and I'm not used to this new old rhythm yet. Because in your 40s, there's a lot of false stops. You learn pretty quick to be like, let's hang back, let's let traffic thin out a little bit. I watch young people come and go. I'm like, tell my family I'm okay.
So now we are basically at Mount Rainier. That was the whole car ride. And if you ever go, just so you know, you have to pay to go up it. It's not a free mountain. Someone bought it, and they're charging tickets. It's also all uphill. It's a nightmare. So be ready for those things. We drive up, we park, and we're walking up the trail. So went up it halfway. I can barely breathe. And this couple's coming down, so I stopped them. I was like, hey, is this enough where we're at? You know, is this like, you get it. Like, we're not trying to live on this mountain. And the lady goes, I'm 75 years old, and I did it. And I was like, all right, maybe that's why you didn't hear the question that I asked. Everybody's pretty cocky on the way down. I mean, there was women with babies. They had 3-month-old babies.
I went to career day for my daughter's school, and I get what I do is very fun. But I was nervous because I'm there with real people, and they're smart. And so I was hoping to sit at a table alone. They put me at a table with a surgeon, which I think they did it on purpose. Almost to show the kids, here's the difference between reading. So the kids like come up, and they're like, what subjects do you use for comedy? And I don't even know what the subjects they're taking. I was like, I do English. I do mostly English on stage. They asked him, how long do you go to school to be a surgeon? And he's like 54 years or whatever. It's like And they asked me, they're like, how long to be a comedian? I was like, you're good now, so. Look, finish elementary school, make your parents happy, but then I'd get out and get after it.